Hi, Bryant here with a quick message before we start the show. This episode was supposed to be our introduction of Alex as a full-time co-host of the show. You might remember Alex, the Porsche mechanic, from the couple episodes we did about used cars, I think about 2 years ago. And you should be hearing more from him in future episodes, hopefully, if things go according to plan. Unfortunately for this episode, his audio recording file got lost when he bought a new computer, and I guess some of the files didn't transfer over to the new one. So I've done my best to edit out all the awkward silences and make it sound like Alex was never there, sort of like that photo of Stalin with Nikolai Yezhov. But don't worry, Alex hasn't been purged, at least not yet. Still pending trial. Also, sorry, I've been going through my own stuff, and it's taken a long time to edit this episode. And, you know, we were talking about some news stories that are maybe a little bit old now. Like, for instance, I mentioned that, well, at least Trump isn't bombing Iran yet. And, well, that hasn't aged well. So apologies for that. I'll have links for all the news stories in the show notes if you want to check them out. Okay, on to the episode.
All profit is value extraction, and that means that all profit is theft from you.
Corporate America is on welfare, and we got to get them off welfare.
The last words on my lips, I am a revolutionary, and you're gonna have to keep on saying that.
Welcome to Cars and Comrades, featuring me, Brandon, and Connor, and Bryant. I don't know why I went full game show host, but here we are, and I'm keeping it.
Yeah. And Zach couldn't make it today because he is unfortunately working. He has one of those lame things called a job.
Oh, God.
But,
Boo.
you know.
Yeah. We're going to be trying to slightly reformat and just, because Zach's going to be, I think he told us he's going to be working a lot of Sundays and unable to record as much. So we're just going to do stuff without him.
Whoever shows up.
Yeah. That just reminds me, I stopped doing my bit that I did for like a year where I kept trying to get people to like give me a supercharger.
Oh, yeah, you should bring that back
Yeah.
for sure. But now it should be a K24 engine.
Oh, no, I still want a supercharger. Or at least like a big turbo
Okay.
for my 455.
Yeah.
I wonder,
And
they make superchargers for the Fits, right? Instead of just turbos?
Apparently, they're like hen's teeth. They do exist, but like nobody. I can't find anyone that makes them currently. And I don't even know what
Got
you
it.
could really expect to get out of it, because I also found a place that made a turbo kit for it, and it was like a 20 or 30 horsepower gain. Like, you're not getting the world.
Oh, yeah, that's bullshit. Just put some nitrous on it.
Yeah, I feel like if
That's
I'm
an
going to
easy
spend that
way.
money, I'm just going to rip everything out of a junkyard and put a K24 in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to go, I think. But you shouldn't do that anyway. I mean, it's a good daily right now, so you should leave it that way.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna for a while. My personal formula for doing it is every time I think like, oh, I should K-swap this, I think like, okay, well, you know, go on Marketplace, find a K24. I'm like, okay, for that much money, I could get the Cutlass almost to the point that I want it to be. So do I really want to be doing this? And then they're like, okay, let's keep a daily driver that's getting like 37 miles to a gallon and just do dumb shit to my old muscle car.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my logic in buying the Chevy Bolt, although I've been telling you guys about maybe putting coilovers on it, dumb shit like that, so.
Yeah, I've even looked into some suspension upgrades for the Fit, and I'm like, you know what? This handles so much better than everything else that I own. Fuck it. I'm just leaving it alone.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I
Ain't
don't
broke,
even
don't
change the
fix
oil
it.
in it. I'm just leaving it alone.
Might want to do that. Well, before we go on too many tangents, I guess we're going to do a news episode today. We're going to have a few news stories about, I don't know, the current clusterfuck that is the United
Current
States.
totally normal world.
Yeah.
Y'all are going to think I'm crazy. I've never been more optimistic about the future. This is
Really?
not
Okay.
a bit.
Huh.
Not for America's
I'm going
future.
back and
I need to
forth.
be very clear. For the future of the world.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I'm at. I'm like, okay, the future's bright for everyone else.
Yeah.
I think that's different. That's different than acceleration. Accelerationism is like the belief that we should be the ones accelerating towards that, right? This is more of a right-wing thing where they're like, we're going to do a mass shooting because that's going to start the race war. That's accelerationism. We're just passengers in the car that is accelerating and noticing that, like, well, if it accelerates enough, maybe there's an opportunity for us to change this situation. I think that's fundamentally different than advocating for the acceleration. We're just looking to, I don't want to say benefit from it, but like people will hopefully wake up and see the bullshit.
See, my optimism is rooted, one, in every time I look at news coming out of China, it's some breakthrough that is just astronomically better than I could have expected. And once I saw that they're putting solar panels in space so that they can beam electricity back to Earth, and that it has the capacity to generate as much electricity as the sum total of all oil on Earth, I was like,
At what cost?
it's probably really expensive, truth be told. That's why they have a state infrastructure to fund it. Like,
Yeah.
a very high cost. Financial cost, but not at the cost of human existence. And then when you stack that on to the fact that Trump is very effectively making America great again, but in the sense of he's dismantling it to, like, a state before white people showed up. Like,
Yeah, it's look, this U.S. global dominance has to decline for the good of everyone, and there's no one better than Donald Trump and show favorite Elon Musk.
oh my God.
I know you're being sarcastic, but
I'm kind of being I'm being serious. They're
Okay.
effectively managing the U.S. decline.
I feel like, if Biden was president, like the wheels would be coming off America and he would just be saying, everything's fine. I don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. But like now, Elon and Trump are like leaning out the window and like shooting a gun at the tires of America. So like,
I love that.
They're jacking the car of this country, this metaphorical country, up one wheel at a time, yanking the wheels off and leaving the car on fucking blocks.
yeah.
America as a country has been put up on cinder blocks in the driveway.
Yeah.
Fucking project country over here.
Hey, it's winter. I don't want to work on stuff right now. It's too cold.
Actually, Trump is doing the same thing to America that I've done to every car I've ever got. I take it apart and then don't do anything with it.
There you go. Donald Trump, certified car guy. Just like us.
My problems are everyone's fault but my own, obviously.
Yeah, it's DEI's fault that my
No,
car
but
isn't running.
it's endlessly funny to me that Trump is such a literal fascist that he's like dismantling like all avenues of soft power for the U.S., which, let's be honest, has been the most effective strategy for exploiting the entire globe that we have ever seen.
Right.
I love how they're so stupid they don't even notice that.
Yeah.
Like, why is it that like we notice that shit and they're just like, get rid of this DEI gaze, and it's like, that's the CIA's budget, sir. Like, you fucking idiot. Yeah, there's a reason they're doing that. But hey, I'm not gonna give them the fucking answers. Oh yeah, that's right. It was woke and gay. Dismantle it. We loved it.
It's really difficult for me to talk about Trump right now because I almost sound pro-Trump, and I'm like, no, the dude's a blithering idiot, and he's doing everything for the wrong reasons. It's just the perfect example of, like, even a blind squirrel finds a nut.
Yeah. Right. I feel like it's, I don't know how in control he is. It feels like the first time, like he just had a bunch of neocons around him that were like telling him to bomb Iran or whatever. And now, for whatever reason, those people aren't in the administration, and it's all a bunch of like 19-year-old 4chan Groiper types that are like, high or drunk and just fucking around. I don't know.
Did y'all see that the Chinese embassy tweeted, like, if y'all want a war, we'll give you a war? Oh, you didn't hear? China, like, the Chinese embassy tweeted, I'm going to have to paraphrase, I don't have it in front of me, but it was, if you want to start a tariff war, we'll engage with you in a tariff war, we'll engage with you in an economic war, we'll engage with you in any war that you want to start.
It's not good, but it's also, let's be real, the U.S. has been angling for war with China eventually, and the U.S. has never not gotten what it wanted in terms of war.
Well, we couldn't win a war with Vietnam. Now, in all fairness, China also lost to Vietnam. They were badasses, but that was, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
For a few weeks I was making the joke that because the Chinese are like everything in China is just so cheap that if their military budget is a tenth of what ours is, that they're probably actually matching our military strength at this point. And now I'm finding out how close I was to making a true statement, and I'm like, holy.
I felt a lot better the moment I realized that, because I was like, oh my god, we spent so much more than, like, the U.S. is unstoppable. And then I did realize, I was like, wait a minute, everything in China is way fucking cheaper.
Yeah, spending.
So,
it's not that our spending is competently executed. It's become a money laundering scheme to funnel money to Raytheon, Boeing, and Lockheed Martin. Wait, Boeing?
Yeah.
Military contractors. So. Yeah, I question what we're getting for the money we're spending. I've also been hearing a lot of rumblings about China increasing their military preparedness. And I think that they see the writing on the wall, which honestly, that scares me more than, like, you can attribute saying we're ready for war to, some degree of bluster, but, like, China is a very non-interventionist country. So when they start preparing for global intervention, they know things that we don't know.
Well, I just can't wait for a F-35 to crash on my house, That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Well, I guess we should do our part and talk about car-related news. And
yeah.
I guess our own project car updates and whatnot.
Yeah, and well, Connor, you might have to leave soon, so why don't you go first?
Yeah. So I may have to leave soon, although I'm not. The plan's a little up in the air. So
okay.
Basically, I don't have much in the way of car updates. The Camaro has just been sitting at the consignment place.
Yes, free
which
storage.
I knew because. Yeah, exactly, free storage. So maybe this week, maybe next week, I'll call them and say, okay, you can drop the price. I just didn't want to do that over the winter because no one in the northern states is looking for a car in January or February.
Yeah,
or at least that's what I think. Yeah, not that car. So probably going to drop the price and then hopefully that will sell. But, we'll see. So that's the update there. The Nissan has been fine, reliable, no real complaints. So yeah, that's been pretty good since the last time I talked about it. So nothing going on there. I do have some updates with the Project Dog, which is my dog Edith, who is a bit of a lemon, it seems. So yeah, I might have to jump off the call to go and visit her at the emergency vet, where she has been for a couple days now and is going to have to stay until at least tomorrow, we think. So the dog seems to have some kind of allergic reaction, a very severe allergic reaction. We don't know what it is. We didn't even know it was an allergy. This is the second time that we've had to go to the hospital with her.
Yeah, it was like July last year, right?
Yeah, it was July last year, right after the Cars and Comrades road trip. It was the day after I got home. So yeah, we don't know what it is. We thought it was rat poison. We don't think it's that anymore. But basically, she'll be fine one moment, then she'll puke, and then she'll collapse. And once that happens, her her blood pressure goes down. She has internal bleeding. The first time it happened, we thought she was going to die. So that was very, very shitty. This time, we kind of knew what we were looking at, so we got her into the emergency vet right away. We did have to travel kind of far to go to like the specialty vet because that's where she got transferred to last time. And she's needed like blood transfusions and stuff. It's been overall pretty nasty. So unfortunately, we don't know what's causing it. But it's being the second time, this is now kind of a scary situation. I mean, it was obviously scary the first time, but so anyway, I might have to leave the call a bit early to go and visit her. So yeah, that's where that's at. But I suppose I'll use this moment to tell people, if you have a pet or if you're thinking about getting a pet and you don't have pet insurance, I highly, highly, highly recommend pet insurance. Yeah, pet insurance. I mean, we have, I think it's called Pets Best. They do 90% reimbursement on pretty much everything except like, some annual visit stuff, like you'll kind of have to cover yourself. But yeah, if your dog ever gets sick, ours covers 90%. And that has made the biggest difference because, the conversations are very different when you don't have that kind of money just laying around. So yeah. I think so far for this visit, we're probably going to be under 10,000. The first time this happened, it was about 10,000. So this time I think it's probably going to be around 6,000 to 7,000.
Holy shit! I love my vet.
Yeah,
I've never had to deal with an emergency, but when my cat got cancer, the surgery and all the stuff, which actually went up in price because that was when we found out he had kidney problems too, so they had to monitor him extra for anesthesia, was $800.
Wow.
Oh wow, yeah, that's yeah, no, it was much more expensive for our dog through these situations she's been having. I mean, and it's rough. I mean, the first night we brought her and we visited her, one more time before leaving, and the dog was cold. So she was just bleeding into her abdomen, and her blood wasn't flowing enough, so she felt cold. It's been a real nasty situation with her, but I do want to say she's doing well. She's staying overnight again out of an abundance of caution, because her blood tests showed that her liver and kidney kind of values didn't bounce back to where they had hoped initially, but she is eating well. She's up and moving around, so she's doing okay. We did catch this in time that it wasn't a serious problem, but it was a serious problem, but you know what I mean. She's gonna be okay. Yeah. Ultimately. So just wanted to say, if you don't have pet insurance, I would highly recommend you change that, because it does make a fucking world of difference.
I just pulled it up because I actually don't have pet insurance.
Yeah, it's and I think it's probably cheaper for cats if I were to guess, but yeah, I can tell you for sure, the first time this happened, we had insurance, but they were saying, look, we're going to do blood transfusions and stuff. They're like, we don't think it's going to work. Your dog is probably going to die tonight. She's like, do you want to spend another $4,000 and your pet still dies? And if we didn't have insurance, that conversation might have gone a little bit differently. But because we have that insurance, it's yeah, we're fine. Go for it. Do whatever you got to do. And thankfully, that worked. We were very lucky in that. So, anyway, that's the project dog, who's always got a problem, unfortunately. We got her with heartworm, so we did that, and then we've had 2 of these big allergic reactions, or what we believe to be allergic reactions. So we'll soon have to go and investigate and see if we can figure out what that is.
The one time I got to hang out with Edith, I loved her, so it's really difficult for me to not refer to her as a shitbox right now.
Yeah, no, she's. I was telling my my partner, I was like, she's gonna be a lemon for Halloween, right? And she's like, yeah. So we're gonna dress her up as a little lemon. Yeah, she has earned that costume, and she's probably gonna be that for a couple of years. We'll see. But yeah. So anyway, that's little glimpse into my non-car stuff. So that's where we're at. The dog gave us quite a scare once again, so. But that's all I got.
Yeah, it's a little scary for sure.
I mean, I'm glad that she's doing better, but yeah, it sucks that she has to keep going through that, and you guys have to keep going through that.
Yeah, Yeah, I wish that wasn't a thing for her, because it's like it's terrifying every time. So, yeah, we just got to try and figure out what it is. Unfortunately, the doctor is not exactly confident that there's testing that will be able to tell us what did this. So that's kind of scary that it could just remain unknown forever. But anyway, that's my little update there. But so that's also the reason I may have to jump off kind of early at this point. So.
Well, do we want to just do in reverse alphabetical since we started with Connor? Bryant, what you been up to?
Yeah, let's do that.
Sure, that works. Yeah, so I haven't been doing much on my cars, but I did take a trip to LA last week, and so I can do another rental car review.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, I just went out there for a quick vacation. I was going to go to Cuba, I told you all about that, but I was like having, anxiety trying to figure out all the bureaucracy around that, so I'm like, I'm going to put that off for now and just take a quick trip to LA to see my cousins, and I also saw Nat from Collective Action Comics out there, so that was cool.
Super cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it was cool. I saw a lot of neat stuff. I saw the Peterson Car Museum.
Jealous.
And I forget if I shared some photos with you guys.
You did. You showed some. Yeah, it looked cool.
Yeah.
I've always heard how cool the Peterson is.
Yeah, I didn't post them all on Instagram because I took like 300 photos, but I'll see if I can find a way to host those online somewhere that's easy to put it in the episode show notes. But yeah, there's like the whole first floor is all a bunch of like lowriders.
Nice.
There's a bunch of like movie cars. There's the I think it was a Mercury that Stallone drove in the movie Cobra, which is one of the best worst movies ever, if you ask me.
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Oh man,
it's
mentioning movie cars made me think. Shout out Gene Winfield passed away this week. If anyone heard about that. I mean, guy was in his mid-90s, so it's not like he didn't have a good run, man. That dude was still building cars probably last week, but that was kind of a bummer to hear.
Yeah, I don't remember if I saw anything from him there, but was I going to say?
It wasn't until he died and everyone was posting stuff that I realized how many movie cars he had made, but he kept a lot of them. Like his own personal shop had people were posting pictures, and I was like, "Wow, that is a cool private collection."
Right. They did have the Lincoln Continental from The Matrix in there. It's pretty sick. Nice. They had a bunch of like real expensive old cars like Tabolagos and Bugattis and stuff from like the 20s and 30s that are probably a few $1 million each. They had a couple of the 3-wheel cars that we talked about on the Trikes and Scams episode. They had the Davis Devon, and the Dale was in the basement.
I remember the Dale.
Yeah. So that was cool. And they had Khrushchev's limo also in the basement. A few other Huh?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm like, I feel like that belongs in Russia or something. But,
right. Yeah, they had a few other like famous people's cars. Like there was a Pope Mobile. There was what's his name, Marcos from the Philippines. His like armored car that apparently weighs 10,000 pounds. It was like a Mercedes S-Class or something.
Oh, I was kind of expecting it to be a Chrysler product with those numbers, but whatever.
And
his armored Dodge Charger weighs 500 pounds more than the factory.
I was gonna say 10,000 pounds. What did they do? Put 500 pounds of armor plate on it?
No, they use more carbon fiber on it. It's actually a lower weight.
But anyways, the car that I rented out there was I forget if it was a 2000. I forget if it was a 22 or 23 Subaru WRX. But it was pretty cool. I got it because it was literally the cheapest manual transmission car that wasn't like a Honda or like a Kia or something like that. You know, I could have paid like twice as much for a Miata or something. But anyways, it was not a good daily driver for LA because it had very stiff clutch and very stiff suspension. So like being in stop and go traffic was awful, and like potholes, not fun.
I'm not seeing the problem here.
Yeah,
y'all have driven my car, right?
Yeah. At least it was.
Wait, hold on. Now I want to
Sorry.
know: was the clutch harder than mine, or
No, it was pretty easy. To get the engagement point, it was just a workout. You know, it was kind of rough on my my old joints. You know, but yeah, I mean, it was like pretty comfortable, nice interior. Nothing like amazing, but everything worked. It was fine. I didn't notice any weird stuff about like rev hang or like clutch delay, like some people have been talking about those cars. But it did have kind of a weird power curve where it was like really linear up to about 4,000 RPM, and then it would like kick you in the ass with a big surge of boost. So I'm not really sure what was going on with that. I don't think it had a tune or anything on it.
are those turbo or are those naturally aspirated?
No, they're turbo. I think they're around 260 horsepower-ish, like 2.4 liter flat four.
I mean, I guess I would expect that then, right? Like, you know, you're probably naturally aspirated under that point, and then it probably hits around 4,000 or so.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't feel sluggish before 4,000, but like it just was this big old spike in power, it felt like, right then.
That's cool. I think that feels cool.
It was kind of fun once I got the hang of it, yeah.
That's the thing I always like about, you know, turbo cars is like you have that point where it hits real hard. I don't have that in my naturally aspirated shit.
Now that I'm getting used to having an import, I'm just like, when are you ever driving below 4,000 RPMs?
Yeah. And I took it up one day to Angeles Crest Highway through the, Angeles National Forest or whatever. So, yeah, took it up there a few miles, went for a little hike, drove back. And that was pretty fun. Like the speed limit on that road is like 40 miles an hour, which I felt, you know, that's a pretty comfortable, fast road, you know, fast speed to be going on that road in the, you know, like it was kind of foggy that day. So I wasn't, you know, pushing it too fast, or I definitely wasn't like going, you know, past the yellow lines or anything. But like there is some, you know, there's some slower cars that, you know, got out of my way. Like, you know, they have little turnoffs where you can slower traffic can pull off and let people pass. You know, so like, I don't know, like a Chevy Malibu or whatever that was in front of me, you know, got out of the way. But then I had to get out of the way for like some BMW that was up my ass. You know, that 40 miles an hour was too slow for them. But I don't know. I guess that's the old saying that, you know, anyone driving slower than you is an asshole, and anyone driving faster than you is a maniac, or whatever the saying is.
I think that's it, and I find that it always holds true.
Yeah.
Now that I have the Fit, I'm just like, I'm going so slow. Why are you all going slower than me?
Yeah.
The truth is, Brandon is not at all going slow. Like, he talks about how he drives, and I'm like, you're not going slow, man. You're going real fast.
Yeah, I was doing like 85.
You just think because you have no power.
Yeah, but it took me so long to get there. Yeah, that's why I have to go everywhere at 4,000 RPMs.
I like what you said earlier off recording about, what is it, the VTEC or whatever?
Yeah, around 5,000 RPMs is when you feel the VTEC kick in and you just get sledgehammered into triple-digit horsepower. Hey, I'm still getting almost 37 miles to a gallon.
I'd be interested. What the hell could that car get if it wasn't driven by Brandon? That's what I want to know.
Okay. I will say I don't get on the highway very often in this car because my daily commute is red light to red light. And my little dash thing says 36 point. It varies from 36.3 to 36.6. It doesn't improve on the highway. And when I bought it, it was at 42 something. But like, to be super clear, I don't actually just drive around redlining that thing every day. Most days, I'm just trying to get to work, and I'm not just peeling out red light to red light. I swear to fucking God, the person that drove it before me must have, like, cruised at 45 steady everywhere and weighed 100 pounds, because I could not do anything to get that thing to 42 miles to a gallon.
Yeah.
I feel like it's doable.
It's also, like, been winter, so, like, I'm not getting the best gas mileage with that as well, but I mean, honestly, I'm not complaining about 36 and a half. That's fucking rules.
Quick side tangent.
it does.
But my old roommate in college had a Chevy Impala that he would commute in pretty far, like, I don't know, maybe like 20 to 30 miles. And he was complaining about how he was getting bad gas mileage. And then I looked in his trunk and he had like an air compressor and a bunch of tools. So probably like at least 100 pounds of tools in the trunk of his car. I'm like, well, do you really need all this? He's like, well, what if I break down? What if I have a flat tire? It's like...
That's me in my van. And let me tell you, fully loaded or fully unloaded, 19 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I travel around with all my tools.
Okay. Well, maybe
not
I was
pounds,
the asshole then.
But like, probably like, 60, 80 pounds or something. I don't know.
All right. Well, maybe I'm the asshole then. Never mind.
I don't think it makes you an asshole or not for having more or less tools. I had a lot of tools in my van because I needed them often. I have almost no tools in the Fit because I rarely even have to fucking add oil.
Right. Well, that's all I had to talk about. But Brandon, what have you been doing
Nothing.
with your cars? Yeah.
Work.
Nice.
First of all, my shop is cold as shit in the winter, but I wouldn't actually know
Yeah.
because I haven't been there in 2.5 months. Because I have just been working 10-hour days for 3 months now. 2.5, I guess. I am.
Yeah, that sucks.
So I spend the very little free time that I have and all of my downtime at work looking for a new job.
Yeah. Don't blame me on that.
I the asshole story, but like I got a call from a recruiter on Friday, and he was describing a job that like it didn't sound exactly like what I wanted to do, but exactly the kind of machines that I want to be running. Like I would be programming and running a 4-axis lathe.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, I'm fucking listening. Like you have my attention. They wanted more programming experience than I had, but machinists are kind of not in excess right now, so people are willing to be a little bit more flexible if you can be trained. And I do have experience on the software that they use, just kind of minimal. And then he was like, all right, so let me ask, like, what are you making at your current job? And I told him, and he just sighed. Yeah, they were offering up to like $28 an hour. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you want somebody with 5 years of programming experience? But you want to pay them less than $60,000 a year? Good luck, buddy. He was like, hey, I'm going to talk to them and see if I can't get you in there and get a better offer for you. But I just don't know.
Yeah, that's nutty.
Wait, and I literally joked with the recruiter. I'm just like, $28 went a lot further 3 months ago, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just to interrupt, just because it's sort of relevant. I got hired. The company that I work for now, they hired me for my current job, and when they they asked like how much I was looking for, I was like, yeah, probably like 75, 80. And they're like, oof, yeah, that's higher than they were going to spend. I was like, well, whatever. And they're like, well, we'll see if we can bring you in, whatever. So they did hire me at like a higher rate than normal. But that recently came to bite me in the ass. So what they told me during the raise conversation, where they offered me 2.5%, and I was like, I don't think I wasn't trying to be unprofessional, but I was like, oof, okay, that's not great, man. I was like, that's yikes. I was walking in there like, all right, they're probably gonna give me some bullshit ass 4% or whatever, but like, okay, I can tolerate it. 2.5%, I was like, that is literally, I'm pretty sure, the worst raise I've ever gotten in my life. So, and I did an awesome year of work. Let me tell you, and the thing was, he was like, well, you're kind of at the top of the salary range. I hired you at like the top of the salary range, and I'm like, yeah, it's because I was really fucking good, and you knew it.
That sounds like a you problem, not a me problem.
Well, and so, of course, it's just this idea that like there's a meritocracy or hard work pays off, and I'm like, no, I was so qualified for the job that I now can't get a proper raise. So, yeah, I was kind of pissed by that 2.5%. I was like, fuck, man, that is shit. So anyway, it just kind of reminded me of that.
I got hired at my shop at $32 an hour, but because our raises actually are kind of merit-based, it depends entirely on what machines you're trained on as to how much you make. And so I went from, and I've been there for less than 7 months, and I went from 32 to 40 an hour.
Nice.
And that is, I have not heard of any other machine shops in my area where I can match what I make now. I know that I'm going to have to take a pay cut anywhere I go. I'm just trying to take the one that hurts the least. But I can't be on second shift anymore. I can't just work overtime for the rest of my fucking life. Yeah, sucks.
Yeah.
My shift differential is $1.50. So if I right now got moved on to first shift, I would be making $38.81. They pay a lot to try and keep people because they think that they can, if they pay you enough, that offsets the rest, like the other toxic aspects of the job. Yeah, the mandatory overtime is a lot. A lot of weekends. None of it's voluntary. Like, they will just mandate you to work between 10 and 30 hours of overtime a week. Like, everybody there pretty much knows that you can only be guaranteed every other weekend off.
Man, fuck that.
It's not as bad on second because they don't have as many supervisors, and the one that we have won't work every weekend because he's 70. But on first shift, most of the not all of the guys on the floor, but all of the machinists are pretty much mandated every weekend they're allowed to be. I'm sorry, man, not worth it.
No, that's crazy.
Only a few people threw specific numbers at me, but 2 different people told me last year that one of them worked 500 hours of overtime and the other one worked over 750. He actually does volunteer for some, so he works extra, but the guy who worked 500 didn't volunteer for any of it.
Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah. So I'm trying pretty hard to get out. Like I said, I know it'll be a pay cut. I don't give a shit. I don't even go to my shop because I don't have time. My work is the opposite direction of my shop. On second shift, I hit like mixed amounts of traffic, so I always have to leave super early because it might take me 15 minutes. Well, it never takes me 15 minutes to get there, but it might take me 20 or 25. It might take me 40 because I had like 24 red lights on the way there, and there's no other route. So basically, I leave for work at 2:15 and get home at 2. Don't really do a lot outside of that. So I'm gonna quit. I've almost walked out twice in the last 2 weeks because my supervisor keeps mouthing off to me.
That sounds super fun.
Yeah, I literally had to sit down with him the other day and was just like, dude, what the fuck? But yeah, so I haven't touched any car shit. It's supposed to be super nice this week, so I'm definitely gonna tell myself that I'm going to.
Yeah.
Actually, I have the headliner for my car sitting in my living room, and I haven't put it in for months now because I ordered it like the last warm week of the fall, and when it came in, I don't think it's been over like 45 degrees since, and I'm like, well, I really don't know how good the glue's going to hold in 40-degree steel.
Right.
So hopefully, I don't know, that'd be cool if I could get that done this week. Depending on if this job keeps scheduling me for overtime, I might just take 27 an hour. I'm not actually going to do that because I have two shops that I think I could probably call tomorrow and start next week for 32 to 35. Just
Man, I think like it fucks me up that like even just like 2-3 years ago, I remember when people were talking about like, you know, hey, if the minimum wage had kept up to where it originally started, it would be like $25 or $26 an hour. And now that like we've gone through a couple years of fucking horrific inflation, that number's got to be well over $30 an hour.
You know what haunts me endlessly? I remember specifically like when I was 17 or 18, maybe a little older, my dad got a new job. And it was basically like the be-all, end-all of jobs for him. He was a truck driver. But the boss really liked him, was going out on his own, starting his own company, blah, blah, blah. Guaranteed my dad a minimum salary of $1,000 a week. And that's before taxes. That's minimum $52,000 a year. That was in like 2002. And that was really fucking good money. And now it's still hard to make that much money.
I know.
27
like
an hour is 54,000, like 54 to 55,000.
Yeah, and like it's hard to find jobs that pay. Like I'm fortunate to be, you know, finally breaking above that, but it's like, yeah, that's like a kind of decent job, and it's below what the minimum wage should have been. It just goes to show you how bad wages are compared to the cost of living these days.
I will go out here and point out now that like my job sucks, and there's a lot of things to criticize about it. But do you know why I make $40 an hour and I'm still not the most highly paid machinist in the building? Because we're fucking union.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Everyone complains about our union, and to be fair, there are a lot of valid criticisms. But nobody seems to realize that that's the only reason that they are getting paid the highest for their trade of any place in the fucking area.
Yeah, it's like, well, imagine if you had all the same grievances plus more and also made $10 an hour less. Like,
it's one of the criticisms of the union, and also it's one of the victories of the union because the company offered us every third weekend off.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that reminds me of that. I forget if it was on Twitter or something else. Someone was saying, you know, I grew up kind of working class poor. You know, one year I got a toothbrush for Christmas. The next year I got a bicycle. You know, it was kind of all over the place. And then the guy's dad chimes in the comments and says, yeah, the year you got a bicycle is the year that I got a union. So.
Hell yeah. I've seen that.
I remember that tweet.
Funny, very short story. For my whole life, I've refused retirement plans at every job where they were an option because I'm like, no, I don't have enough faith that this country will outlast me. And in my late 30s, around 40, I started being like, okay, probably the next job that I get, I'm going to seriously consider like retirement stuff. And now after the last 3 months, I'm like, oh man, younger me nailed it.
Yeah, I had that same conversation with my dad once, and he's like, yeah, you know, maybe you're right, but also maybe there will be something to retire for, so it's probably a good idea just to save money just in case. Yeah, and if the economy goes to shit.
Almost guarantee.
Well, the way my philosophy lately, I've generally been pretty decent about putting money into a 401k since I started working, but it's not a ton in there. But anyway, so I've been doing it, and recently I'm like, you know what? One day, if and when I move to like China, I can just take all that money and use it over there. So I got this big old bank account, and when I leave this shithole, I'll just take it with me.
Yeah.
And you're going to show up and they're going to be like, the dollar? Who the fuck still uses that?
I'll change it to yuan, of course. No worries there.
I mean, that's only if you plan on going back to the U.S.
Yeah, over my dead body. Jeez.
As I understand it, it's basically if you go to another country and work, you still owe the federal government of America your income taxes.
Yeah, not all of it, I think, but some.
I don't know the specifics beyond
know.
what I just said, but supposedly yes. I was livid when I found that out.
I didn't know that at all.
No, I just want to go to the government and make a deal. But listen, I will pay you whatever taxes you want. High-speed rail. Give it.
Yeah.
You get money when I get
Yeah.
a train. Wow, that was the most autistic thing I've ever said.
Well, on that note, I do have to get going, y'all. It is time to go visit the project dog at the shop.
Good luck,
So,
man.
Yeah.
All right.
Say hi to Edith for everyone.
Scratch your head for me.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Take care, man.
I will do that. So, yep. I'll see you guys all later.
All right. Take care.
All right. See ya.
Boopity boop boopity boop 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 boopity boop 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 boop. Breaking news. That's the part of the show we're at. We're at the breaking news part. Boop boopity boop boop boopity boop boop. This is Cars and Comrades with your car news updates. Boop 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 boop.
So now, how about some news, guys?
Yeah. We got a few news stories. I don't know what kind of order we want to go in, but I kind of wanted to start with this thing about the Cybertruck owner. If you guys are good with that.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked in the current political climate that Tesla is coming up.
Yeah. So this is an article from Jalopnik. The headline is Cybertruck owner wants Congress to make being mean to Tesla owners a hate crime. So, yeah. So this is this guy, what was his name? Mike Miller, who basically wrote a letter to his congressman and posted about it on Facebook, of course, saying that he's been, harassed. He's, what is it? I think someone like vandalized his truck while it was parked or whatever. So he basically wants them to be punished as a hate crime. Yeah, that's the same as like, being a black person or a gay person or something.
So my prediction is that this goes through, but then they just stop enforcing any hate crime laws, period. So it kind of becomes moot.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that happening.
It's like, okay, we'll treat this as a hate crime, but you do know that means that we'll care less, right?
So the incidents that he cites for being a hate crime is allegedly someone once deliberately attempted to run him off the road.
Good. Critical support.
And then in another unsettling encounter, while washing my car in my own driveway, a stranger drove up, hurled insults at me, and then left while running stop signs.
Uncritical support.
Yeah. So, I don't think he even had it vandalized. I don't know why I said that. So, I'm sure he would lose money selling it right now, but it's not like it's going to go up in value anytime
Do we have
soon,
any stories lined up about the market for Teslas right now?
Yeah, I don't have any stories, but I have seen like, Tesla is like doing 0% financing, and I've heard anecdotal stories that like people have seen, Teslas on like buy here, pay here lots.
The
like,
market is
yeah.
the bottom is just falling out of the Tesla market.
Yeah, I think he's lost $45 billion because their stock has gone down or whatever.
So what's he down to, like 400 billion now?
Right. Have y'all seen that whole thing of like representing wealth in terms of like piles of rice?
Yeah.
It's like 1 grain of rice is like $10,000, and here's this like gigantic like 200 pounds of rice that represents, Elon Musk's fortune.
Oh no, it's much more grotesque than that. I feel like I was hearing 140, 160 is like the high end of what they were going for, but I'm kind of pulling that number out of my ass. I don't remember specifically.
Yeah.
See, but to me that says a lot, because that is sort of their current flagship, like meaninglessly so,
Yeah.
because it doesn't excel at anything. but it's visible and people want it, and like Elon dick riders, that is like the fucking thing. I think that if you exclude that and just look at regular Teslas, the market's getting, because like I'm seeing all these pictures of rebadged Teslas with like Honda badges and shit, or just stickers that say I bought it before I knew he was crazy, like shit like that. It was once a sort of like liberal dog whistle, and now it has shifted in such a weird direction that the primary demographic it would be targeting no longer wants associated with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it was like people who didn't know anything about Elon could just say they drove a Tesla and feel really good about themselves. Oh, also, like, this isn't hearsay. This is, I don't have the hard numbers in front of me, but in the Chinese market, they are just getting devastated. BYD is crushing them just viciously.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, real quick, one last thing on this article. I have to give props to the author Colin Woodard and also whoever, whatever editor approved this, because he has in the last couple paragraphs of this article, you have to remember the Republican mantra is there must be in-groups whom the law protects but does not bind, alongside out-groups whom the law binds but does not protect. And like, I don't know. I think it's cool that someone's printing that right now, you know?
Am I wrong in remembering that that's not necessarily the Republican mantra as much as it is one of the definitions of fascism?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Nailed it, dude.
But I think that does a good segue into the article that you had about Chinese cars.
I remember because when we pay attention to this sort of thing, when we first came across like one obscure news story about like what Chinese cars are starting to look like, I feel like in the maybe 6 months since then, it has slowly crept into being common knowledge that Chinese EVs are like literally not being allowed in the country because of their like unyielding superiority.
Yeah, I mean, because the Chinese government actually invested in EVs technology and infrastructure and all that. It's like, I don't know. The thing I point to a lot is like, I don't know. It was at least 10 years ago. Tesla got a government grant because they demonstrated the technology of like hot swapping a battery. Swapping it in real quick.
Yeah.
They basically built this prototype, demonstrated it once, and then never revisited that technology. But now there's a Chinese company that's actually doing that. Like, you can just roll up to the station. It's all automated. It drops the battery out the bottom and puts in a new one in 5 minutes or something. So
I don't remember how I came across it. I stumbled across like an electrical engineering article that got like kind of, it was like news-ish in that it was obviously written to like a 8th or 9th grade reading level, but technical in that it contained like actual electrical engineering stuff. So I definitely can't like repeat it all. But they were explaining the different types of batteries that BYD versus Tesla use and their charging capacities. And like, this was not a fuck Elon critical of Tesla kind of article. This was a very objective. Tesla on its face has superior charging technology, but here's why it falls flat and why BYD's is superior, or BYD's is superior, especially over like a long term. And it was literally just as simple as BYD found a way where it charges slower but generates less heat. So it's sort of a turtle and hare thing. By charging slower, it's able to charge faster and more efficiently because there's no concerns about heat dissipation, which is like when you're rapid recharging batteries is a problem with that Teslas have.
Right. Yeah, I think some of the Tesla supercharger stations, the actual cord that plugs into the car has like a liquid cooling jacket on it, just to get rid of all that heat. So
well, dude, a bunch of the charging stations have just been bursting into flames.
Yeah,
of their own volition. I love this in conjunction with me recently learning that certain types of Stellantis vehicles are now like showing ads on the like display screen while people are at red lights.
Yeah.
So please tell me about Chinese spyware but can you please tell me about it at red lights while I'm trying to get to work? I think I've maybe talked about it on it. I had somebody explain to me fairly specifically how none of those things actually listen to you, and the mechanism with which they gather all of that information is actually infinitely more horrifying. Well, the long and the short, the easy one is I went on a, oh my God, my phone must be listening to me rant to a friend of mine one time because my neighbor had been asking me about removing a stump from her yard. And I get home and I start getting recommended YouTube videos on stump removal. It wasn't relevant to me until she asked me about it, and I had not looked into it yet. So the mechanism is basically that she had looked into stump removal, and your phones are able to tell where you're at and who you're around. So I was recommended videos on stump removal because they knew that she had and that I had been with her recently. Because like the really quick and dirty explanation, while not thorough, of why your phone's probably not listening to you is use speech to text. No, your phone can't tell what you're saying, but it can suss out every other weird part of data that you can imagine. Yeah, I actually, like, when I found out how they actually get all of that information, I was like, fuck, I wish it would just listen to me. There's the neoliberal idea that, like, any market interference is bad, and you know, with an asterisk larger than the idea itself.
Yeah.
But government helping in any way, on its face, it's bad unless it's a bailout or subsidies for a company we like, et cetera, et cetera. But like just on its face, neoliberalism is just shy of like Western libertarianism in terms of like, no, the government can't help. Everything has to be free markets and competition and blah, blah, blah. And it's just mind-boggling to people that the role of the state could literally be to help. Like it makes... Every time someone complains about subsidies, I always think of the specific thing that Alex, you'll as another vegan, you'll be on the same page with me about is what beef. Like it is financially unsustainable to have cattle farms without government subsidies. I would love the anti-subsidy crowd being the like libertarian beef, like I gotta have meat for 3 meals a day kind of guys to have their beef subsidies eliminated. It also does list in this article that BYD's average wages in their factories are double what some other car factories are.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, off air, I was talking about some of the new like green energy projects that China's implementing, or that might have even been at the beginning of recording. But either way, yeah. At what cost? Oh, at a very high cost. But I'm sorry, it's just not super cheap to save the world once we've set it on fire. Yeah. I mean, at what cost can we save millions of lives? I don't know. At what point do you stop asking what cost and start asking just, can we do it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Just makes me think, you know, money isn't real. Like, come on. Like, just do it. But
I mean, have you ever read anything? I haven't read anything that he's written specifically, but like, do you know anything about Maynard James Keynes' economic theories? Hey,
the guy from Tool?
What's that? That's Maynard James Keenan. I actually had to Google it numerous times because I mixed their names up.
Okay.
Yes. This guy's much older than the guy from Tool.
Okay.
No, but he was a fairly classical economist. Like, he wasn't a Marxist. He wasn't anything super left. But he basically said that, like, his prediction was that by, like, the mid-2000s, everybody was going to be working, like, an 8-hour work week and be making, like, all of this money because of the rate of, like, automation and, like, all this stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just really funny because for as much as people want to accuse Marx of not factoring in human nature, he did not factor in capitalist greed. But it's interesting that like a guy who's pro-capital is like, hey, here's a very straightforward thing about how capitalism is going to solve all of our problems. How did that work out for you, Guy? Actually, I think he's been dead for a while. I don't know.
Yeah. See, anything else on that article, or should we find another one here?
They're getting brutalized. And their market share is still probably like... No, because at one point they were evaluated higher than the big three combined.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think there's ever been a specific thing that made me so concretely realize that it's just all... It's nothing. It's made up.
I think that was when they were saying that they were going to have, actual self-driving cars. But yeah, it's only 2 years away, guys. It's going to happen. I did see when I was in LA one of those little robots that delivers like your Grubhub order or whatever.
That's real?
Yeah. I forget which brand it was, but one of these companies, they found out that they were just like hiring low-wage workers in like, I don't know, I think it was Venezuela, to like remote control these things over the internet. So it wasn't actually automated.
So China gets high-speed rail, and we get robot like shelf like fucking grocery store workers and $45 burritos delivered by a drone. Piloted by somebody in like Indonesia.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who saw Chopping Mall?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's from the 80s, and it's literally about a company designing robot security guards for nighttime security at a mall, and they just end up killing everyone. Highly recommend.
If you want some real positive news, I have this one. More Americans are missing their car payments than any time in 30 years. So, not much more than that. Also it's saying that car dealerships are, facing some economic uncertainty, which, boo-hoo, I guess. But
I just had a really fun mental image of a guy like begging on a street corner, except like instead of implying like, oh, my kids are hungry, he's like, oh, my dad owns a dealership. So we've actually like done the like quick Google of what the average car payment is in the US on other episodes before, and I'm pretty sure that's gone up.
Yeah.
Now, as somebody who would ostensibly be considered like blue collar, middle class, working class, whatever, however you want to define it, and was just offered $27 an hour for an experienced programming position, I want to know how they expect me to pay $700 a month on an average. I went over my personal finances this past week, and it convinced, because I have always been one of the most financially stable people I know for at least like a decade, it convinced me immediately that our economy was doomed for implosion imminently.
Yeah.
Because like I'm still safe, but when I look like at what I make versus what my like expenses are that I cannot eliminate, because this isn't like, including any sort of budget for fun. It was like food, shelter, utilities. If you threw in a mortgage or rent payment and a car payment on that, I would be living paycheck to paycheck, minus overtime.
Yeah.
And again, I will reiterate a point that I made less than an hour ago on this fucking show. I am at one of the most highly paid shops in my area.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know anyone my age who can. It's... I also wonder, just like, all of us can work on our own cars, some better than others. But, like, the people that are taking their car to the mechanic, just their, I don't know, their 2009 Kia or whatever, like, what are they paying, like, for that kind of shit? Like, that's gonna fuck up.
I don't, like, feel great about things.
Yeah.
If I want to transition into a joke for a little bit, for, like, a decade, I've made jokes about driving Chevys and being a fan of Chevys because, like, sure, they break all the fucking time, but, like, I can put a new starter on for like $30 and so on and so forth. And I'm realizing now how much I was spending on like $30 and $40 parts to keep all my shitty old vehicles running on like a weekly basis. Now that I have just something modern and efficient that just doesn't break all the time.
Brandon, you remind me a little bit of the boomers that will say that like points ignition or carburetors are like actually good, you know, because you can fix it with a screwdriver. It's like, well, but the problem is you have to fix it with a screwdriver, you know?
Oh, I have a friend who's like 2 years older than me, and him and I will like have it out because I've warmed up to fuel injection and I've thought about putting some of the conversion kits on it. And honestly, the only reason I'm reluctant to is because I hear a lot of issues where out of the box the computer's fried, and if you're doing it yourself, which it's more or less made to be a DIY kit, they are hell with the warranty.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this.
And pretty much Holley makes like most of them. I think most of them like kind of trace back to originating from Holley. And yeah, they're like, oh, well, you know, have your mechanic contact us. And you're like, I did it myself. And they're like, warranty voided. So, yeah, I mean, I haven't made that step. But he still argues for points ignition. And he's like, oh, yeah, I can reset it on the side of the road. And I'm like, or you could just never have to do that. And he's like, yeah, but then your like module can burn out. And I'm like, every module I've had has burned out after 30 years. And I replaced it for like $15.
Right.
And that was because I went to the parts store and bought it instead of buying the $5 one from Summit. Like, grow the fuck up.
Yeah, the only vehicle I've ever had with points was my old Vespa moped, and those went out of adjustment like every 1,000 miles or something. It was a piece of shit, but...
You really rode the shit out of that Vespa.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, I commuted on that thing for a couple years, yeah.
I remember you telling me about that, yeah.
Well, I do have a slightly uplifting story, if this is to be believed.
You just said that before, and it was awful.
Well, I was being sarcastic. So...
But now I don't know if you're being sarcastic again.
So this is, I think, positive if it actually comes to pass, but... I
think... Yeah, I hope it's the one I think
it
is.
Yugo is trying to make a comeback.
Yes!
With a new cheap car.
Yugo!
So this is basically Professor Alexander Bielkik, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who is an automotive designer, and he has secured the trademark rights to Yugo and is working, to actually bring it to production. But right now it's just some concept drawings. Which look quite nice, actually. But yeah, he's trying to make an entry-level car.
Well, so is BYD, so good luck to you, bud.
And now, of course, it'd be nice if Yugoslavia was coming back, but I guess we can't have everything, can we?
Well, I mean, you can't have anything. That's literally what we've just been discussing.
But that's basically the whole story is some guy is trying to bring it back. But I don't know. It's worth reading the article for the details, and also there's a video linked in there why Yugo isn't the worst car ever. Which, yeah, we talk.
Yeah, I was going to comment on the fact that like it's a weird choice. Even if I'm pro this, it's a weird choice to try and rejuvenate a car that has such an exceptionally bad reputation.
Right. And we talked about this a little bit on the episode on Malcolm Bricklin. I don't know how long ago that was, but I think it's not that bad of a car. It's just a cheap, not very high tech car. It was built on old technology, but it was cheap. And then the real problem came when, the U.S. put sanctions on Yugoslavia and then bombed the car factory. So it was kind of hard to find parts after that. So.
Oh, man, did you guys hear about us accidentally bombing, like, civilians in South Korea?
No, but I believe it.
The U.S. was doing military exercises with the South Korean military and accidentally bombed, like, 7 civilians.
Jesus. I bet you that's not the first time they've done that.
Yeah, it's funny to me because it didn't even break into the, like like meme cycle. Like I saw a couple of references to it, and then it just like fell to the wayside because just every day is an unrelenting onslaught.
They might have talked about that on Guerrilla History. I think was that the podcast they had some South Korean guest on recently that was talking about.
It's been in the last week that it happened.
Okay, yeah.
It was one of those things where I saw a headline and I'm like, nope, that's too absurd to be real. Google, oh shit, it's real. The correction that people have issued is like, no, it was the South Korean military in conjunction with the U.S.
Right. And
I'm like, oh, thanks for pretending there's a difference.
Yeah, so the episode I'm thinking of is from February 28th, Korea War Games, Trump's rhetoric on the DPRK, and more with Joo-hyun Park.
I definitely didn't hear that, so...
yeah, I think
someone acknowledged it.
They were talking about like a few similar incidents where there's like some area with civilians living very nearby a like a bombing range, like a practice bombing range or whatever. So,
well, maybe they shouldn't have bought houses so close to the military operations.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that's the order that it went down.
In one of my other group chats, I like every time somebody said something about China. Actually, it got to the point where it was from my own personal meme, where anytime anybody said anything, I was like, "Yeah, but at what cost?" Well, my attitude and in my own personal life, I've become a lot more comfortable advocating for China lately because I've realized that people under my age are a lot more receptive to hearing it, and I've had a number of people that were in their 20s. I would tell them something factually accurate, and they'll be like, wait, are you saying that the government's lied to us? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, that tracks. But ever since they tried to ban TikTok and Red Note became a thing for a second, I'm unabashed, and none of my friends call me out anymore. No, yeah, I think that's like that, and I still hop on there every now and then. It's like people are still being active on there, but just that week or two of really intense dialogue where actual Americans got to talk to actual Chinese people and realize that all the horror stories they've heard about China are lies, and all the horror stories that they've heard about us were either true or like played down.
Yeah.
I get the general sense that a lot of people are more receptive or stupid, because I said something positive about China to one friend, and their retort was one of the least informed things that I could have ever imagined being in response to China. And they were like, yeah, well, but they let Kowloon Walled City exist. And I'm like, that was British-occupied Hong Kong. You're criticizing the British government right now on accident.
But hey, at least we got some cool creepypasta stories about that city, so...
I mean, that city was fascinating, but no, it was not good for anyone.
No. I mean, unless you wanted some, like, dentistry done cheap by someone without a license, that kind of thing.
I think that there's, like, a way that you can look at Kowloon Walled City positively, but it was not, positive in the sense of it was good to see people, like, coming together and doing what had to be done. It was a negative in the sense of everything about its existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call that a wrap.
Yeah.
As Connor would say, don't forget to check us out on social media, Cars and Comrades, everywhere you use social media.
Yeah.
And that's it. But, yeah, I guess we're done.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We don't think fight fire with fire fists. We think you fight fire with water fists. We gonna fight racism, not with racism, but we gonna fight with solidarity. We said we're not gonna fight capitalism with black capitalism, but we going to fight with socialism.
Amazingly, or not so amazingly, Cuba's crime rate is one of the lowest in the entire hemispheres. Oddly enough, it seems that when people have their basic human needs met, they're less likely to commit crimes.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
The free market mythology, it argues that the most ruthless, selfish, opportunistic, greedy, calculating plunderers Applying the most heartless measures in cold-blooded pursuit of corporate interest and wealth accumulation will produce the best results for all of us. Through something called the invisible hand.
What are you smiling about?
Dude, I almost had you.